have not one Magritte, but a whole collection.
Yes. Magritte made 20 works in the medium of printmaking, some in lithography and some in etching.
Yeah.
And this collection consists of examples of all 20 works. It came about because I had a client back in 1972 in London who was a Dutchman but living in London, and he came in one day and he bought a Magritte print from me, this one actually here that's on the wall. And then he said to me, what else did Magritte do? And I said to him, well, he did 20 prints in total. And the collector said to me, well, let's see if we can collect all of them. And so over a period of 10, 11 years, I think it took till 1982, 1983 to find an example of every single print. And slowly we put them together. Had some luck and some disappointments, but it worked over 10 years. And we ended up with an example of every single one. The collector never framed all of them. He was a very old-fashioned collector, and he liked to keep things like prints used to be collected and kept in portfolios. So we have 5 of them here, which is on display on the wall, and the remaining 15 we've got in the box here, in a box specially made in the traditional way by the box maker who makes things for the Rijksmuseum. So it's very, very archival.
Yeah.
And there are interesting examples in here of images that he's made. This one's a very good example. I think everybody will know Magritte made these wonderful compositions which were using bottles which he painted to make like female figures.
Yeah.
And also here on the wall there, this is a self-portrait by Magritte, typical man in a hat and with the empty face. But when you look at it, you can see the whole face. And the enigma of Magritte as an artist is that you never really quite know what you're looking at. For this one here with the birds, you don't really know whether you're looking at a bird who's coloured like leaves or whether you're looking through a cut-out shape which looks like a bird, and you can see the leaves beyond. And it's this type of enigma, this type of strangeness, this type of mystery that makes Magritte such a fascinating artist. One of the most
And do the 20 works of art stay together? That must be difficult at Tefaf.
Yes. We are not offering them for sale except as a complete collection, because the collector spent a lot of time and pleasure and money putting it together, and he wants it to be kept as a complete collection. But it's something which would be pretty nearly impossible to do nowadays, because, or maybe if you spent 30, 40 years you might do it, but not within a reasonable length of time. And I think it's a very good aim to try and keep these small collections together if one possibly can. Not only to show the whole work of the artist, because they have an added quality, an added interest if they're all kept as a unity.
And in what range you have to think if you want to buy all the 20?
It's not so much money actually, it's 250,000 euros.
Together
For the whole collection.
Yeah.
And it includes also 1 or 2 extra things that whilst we were building the collection we find. For instance, not many people know that Magritte, when he was young, when he was 18, 19, he worked in an advertising agency, and what his job was to design posters.
Yeah.
That is Magritte, aged 19, earning his money so that he could actually be an artist. And unless you happen to see that it's actually signed Magritte down there, you'd never think that it was by him.
L'heure du tango.
This is a very representative sculpture for the program I'm running here in Maastricht, selected every year for here. And I'm very happy to say this is going to a public space which been in Leuven, in the future major hotel at the Market Square, It's going to please the public who's visiting that hotel, of which I hear it will be opened in June. So this is going to be soon in the public for the general pleasure. The owner of the hotel is enchanted by this field, and we knew each other from Maastricht, and then he came forward and he asked me if I could advise him on his hotel, and it will be an exciting opportunity to something in public, in a public space.
What is it exactly?
It's representing Venus hiding herself. Her arms are gone, but in fact she's really hiding her bosom and her sex, and it's a typical piece which would stand in Roman houses in the courtyard. It comes from London, that piece, and belonged to a private collector from whom the English dealer whom I know bought it from. Then it was exported officially to Switzerland from England. As usual, you get passports and so on.
So, can you say something in what range of value we talk about?
These pieces are worth several €100,000, of course. I will not display a precise price, but these pieces, it's very large, do have a substantial value, but notwithstanding that, I would still say antiquities with provenance are very attractive because they represent a lot, and they represent our own culture. We immediately grab and understand the meaning of these sculptures because they are reflected in architecture, Renaissance, and in our own culture. I'm very proud to present this because it's the second known in the world. It's a muscular breastplate. Many are in bronzes, probably about 200 known, but only this in iron is the second one known. So it must have protected the body of a prince or a king, a commander-in-chief of the army at around 400 BC. And it comes from a French private collection, and I acquired it in Paris, and I was just very, very lucky. I could have sold it 3 times. I'm very happy for the collector who bought it, and one of the parties who couldn't buy it, a public institution, asked me if they could have it on loan. So I have to contact the collector who just bought it because there is a major public collection in the States who would like to show it in their exhibition.
Okay. And you sold it already at the preview?
I sold it right away, and what I was explaining before shows the function of the dealer is also the intermediate between the public sector and the private sector. We can help both by putting them together.
But you had more candidates for it.
Yes, I had another collector from France who missed the piece. He was very sporty about it, and the whole thing everything was very friendly. But of course it's very difficult if several of your best collectors want to buy the same piece at roughly the same time at the opening.
And if you have at the same moment more candidates, it doesn't work that then the price rise?
Not at all. It's first come, first serves. That is fair.
Yeah. It's not like an auction.
It's not an auction, absolutely not. And of course you have to accept that very good works of art, as they are presented here at Tefaf, could have sold several times. So you have an imaginary budget thinking how much you could sell such a piece, but that shows the quality of the fair.
You have a totally different booth than the other years.
Yes, we've tried to create something new to excite the visitors once more, and I think it's very important as we feel that we need to, reinvent ourselves once in a while, and Tefaf is the perfect place to showcase that. So we decided not only to show up in a new booth, but also release a special edition, which is the AL collection, which we have worked on for 3 years, and we're very proud to present it first at Tefaf in our new home, the new booth designed by Dutch architect Tom Postma.
Okay, that's the same who did the whole Tefaf, in fact.
Yes, my parents got to know him about 20 years through Tefaf, and we had a great relationship since then, and we've also redone our shop in Munich, our gallery, which you visited a few years ago, and when we had the idea to redo our booth, there was no other place to go than to Tom.
Yeah. And there are also quite some changes in the decoration at Tefaf this year. How do you think about it?
I think they're very well accepted. Everybody has given us positive feedback I mean, number one on our booth, firstly, but secondly, people are excited again. You know, before it was a bit static, and people needed a little bit of change, and you know, I think it's good for everybody.
Yeah. And about your collection, so you say it's the first time you present it.
It's the first time that we have released our new aluminium collection, which are a little bit more than 16 pieces, which are worked and crafted exclusively out of aluminium, combined with diamonds, sapphires and garnets, and gave us the chance to combine these stones with beautiful colors, beautiful hues, beautiful organic tones and shapes, and I think we've succeeded again.
And what is the reaction of your clients and maybe people who are not client but will be client maybe in the future?
I think you always come to a fair to always excite people who potentially may not become your clients, but just, you know, to bring your creations further, to broadcast it to a wider audience. I think that's very important, and we've gotten so far only very good feedback.